In recent years, the Chinese government's infiltration through overseas students into various Western countries has become increasingly serious. According to a video filmed by Russian students during a Chinese student celebration of the Chinese New Year, students on stage seemed to be singing songs related to the Chinese Communist Party. In the back rows, several people were holding Chinese flags. Another video, this time filmed by Filipino students, showed a similar event celebrating the New Year. All participating students were wearing matching red tops, indicating another instance of overseas infiltration organized by the Chinese Communist Party. Due to the increasing cultural infiltration by Chinese students, the international community has become more guarded to students from China. Recently, the Philippine Star reported that over 4,600 Chinese students have enrolled in academic programs at a private university in Cagayan and are renting accommodations in multiple locations in the city of Tuguegarao. The Cagayan province is located at the northern tip of Luzon Island, facing Taiwan. The surge of Chinese citizens in Cagayan province has raised concerns among Filipino officials about the national security. The Armed Forces of the Philippines, AFP spokesperson, stated that coordination with the Philippine National Police will be undertaken regarding this matter, and the AFP will provide assistance if needed. It has also prompted worry among government officials. Congressman Joseph Lara of the province's 3rd District initiated a resolution calling for an investigation into the matter, citing potential threats to national security. To investigate the activities of Chinese citizens in Cagayan, Congressman Lara will coordinate with the National Intelligence Coordinating Agency, NICA, for a deeper understanding of the Philippines' national security issues. Dr. Chester Cabalza, founding president and defense analyst of the International Development Security Cooperation Organization, also told This Week Asia that historically, Cagayan has been accustomed to the presence of Filipino-Chinese individuals, many of whom are politicians and businessmen. However, given its geopolitical significance, the influx of Chinese citizens deserves attention. Cabalza believes that the new arrivals from China are wealthy students and businessmen, and their presence is suspicious because they happen to have come to the province amid geopolitical tensions in the Taiwan Strait and the rotation of U.S. soldiers stationed in the northern part of Luzon Island. Congressman Robert Ace Barbers of the 2nd District of Surigao del Norte went as far as to claim that state-sponsored creeping invasion is happening. Barbers expressed disbelief that the significant number of Chinese students could go unnoticed by any institution unless Filipino officials were blinded by money or were grossly incompetent and ignorant. The concerns and vigilance in the Philippines are not unfounded. It is well known that the CCP's ambition towards Taiwan has been long-standing. Since 1949, the Taiwan Strait has been divided, with each side governing separately and not subordinate to the other. However, Beijing has consistently insisted on sovereignty over Taiwan and has even vowed to achieve reunification with the island by force if necessary. In recent years, with the rise of China's national strength and military power, the military pressure, intimidation from the People's Liberation Army towards Taiwan have been increasing. Just in the past few months, there have been dozens of incidents. Starting from 9:30 a.m. on April 27, the Taiwanese military detected 22 incidents involving Chinese military aircraft and drones. According to a statement from the Ministry of National Defense, 12 of these incidents involved the aircraft crossing the median line of the Taiwan Strait into the airspace of northern and central Taiwan, in coordination with Chinese warships conducting joint combat readiness patrols. The same thing happened previously on April 20th. The Taiwanese Ministry of National Defense reported that starting from 8:15 a.m., the Taiwanese military detected a total of 21 incidents involving various types of Chinese military aircraft, including J-16, Y-8 transport aircraft, and drones engaging in maritime activities. Of these, 17 incidents involved aircraft crossing the median line of the Taiwan Strait and its extension into the airspace of northern, central, and southern Taiwan in coordination with Chinese naval vessels conducting joint combat readiness patrols. The Chinese government has also resorted to dangerous intimidation tactics against Taiwanese officials. In March, during a visit to Prague at the invitation of the president of the Czech Senate, Milos Vystrčil, Taiwanese Vice President B. Kim Louis-Tsao was under the protection of the Czech police. Despite this protection, Tsao was harassed by a Chinese military diplomat, narrowly avoiding a potential incident. According to an exclusive report by the Czech media outlet Seznam Zprávy, as Sal's convoy traveled from Prague airport to the city center, they noticed a car tailing them. At an intersection, the suspicious vehicle intentionally ran a red light, nearly causing a collision. When police officers protecting Sal intercepted the vehicle, they discovered that the driver was a diplomat from the military attaché office of the Chinese embassy in Prague. As a result, the Czech Ministry of Foreign Affairs summoned Chinese ambassador Feng Biao. According to the Taiwanese Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the incident is still being investigated. However, Taiwan's representative to the United States, Alexander Yue, stated that this kind of tailing was already expected. This is why high-ranking Taiwanese officials maintain a low profile during overseas visits and meetings with foreign individuals, refraining from public disclosure. This is because the Chinese side often issues warnings or threats, creating pressure on the other party, including countries like the Czech Republic, Lithuania, and even the United States. Yue further emphasized that the main goal of the CCP is to eliminate Taiwan's international space and erase the Republic of China from the world, a goal that has never changed. Czech Foreign Minister Jan Lipovský stated that he did not believe this matter has concluded. The Czech government revealed that it was considering designating that Chinese diplomat as a persona non grata, someone who is unwelcomed. On another front, cases of Chinese spy students stealing military, commercial, and technological secrets overseas have repeatedly made headlines, leading to heightened concerns among Filipino officials. On April 15th, Swiss broadcaster RTS reported a case about a student from Leysin Hotel School suspected of being a Chinese spy. The report revealed that a Chinese student named David W. from Beijing purchased an old hotel near the Meiringen military airfield in Switzerland and claimed to run the hotel with his parents. However, the airfield was secretly receiving American-made F-35 fighter jets. In 2018, the American F-35 fighter jets conducted multiple test flights in Meiringen. This aircraft has attracted the interest of the United States' biggest competitor, China, which has been trying various methods to obtain information on the F-35. That same year, David purchased the Rosalie Hotel. Firstly, due to its old infrastructure and remote location from tourist routes, the hotel did not attract much attention. Secondly, the hotel is located on the edge of the Meiringen military airfield, providing a direct view of the aircraft takeoff runway from the rooms. So the Rosalie Hotel was an ideal location for espionage operations. In July 2023, the police conducted a search at the Rosalie Hotel owned by David, during which the German newspaper Tages-Anzeiger discovered David's true identity. Seeing himself exposed, David hastily left Switzerland, and the whereabouts of him and his family are currently unknown. Ariane Nassel, a historian specializing in Chinese relations with Western countries and one of Europe's leading experts in the field of espionage, has been researching Swiss secret files related to China. She stated that Chinese government espionage cases often involve ordinary Chinese citizens rather than professionals. To convince them to engage in espionage activities, the government often lures or threatens their families in China. The report also mentioned that not only Switzerland, the United States has also discovered numerous Chinese espionage activities. U.S. media reported over 100 cases of Chinese citizens trespassing on military airfields, often posing as tourists or businessmen, sometimes equipped with drones. Moreover, the collaboration between the Chinese security agencies and the military has led to the theft of countless specific design details of American military hardware, ranging from fighter jets to ground vehicles and robots. FBI Director Christopher Wray stated in 2020 China Initiative Conference that the CCP pioneered an expansive approach to stealing innovation through a wide range of actors, including not just Chinese intelligence services, but state-owned enterprises, ostensibly private companies, certain kinds of graduate students and researchers, and a whole variety of other actors, all working on their behalf. Former National Security Agency Director Keith Alexander previously referred to cyber espionage as the greatest transfer of wealth in history. Another example of a student arrest occurred on January 30th when the FBI publicly announced the arrest of Yi Yangqi, a female agent with a rank of lieutenant in the Chinese military who had engaged in espionage activities at Boston University. Yi, originally a student at the National University of Defense Technology in China, concealed her identity while studying at Boston University. She conspired with high-ranking military officials to collaborate with American experts on research with potential military applications and sent the research results back to China. During this period, Yi also investigated and collected information on two American scientists specializing in AI and computer science, sending their resumes and other information to her superiors. One was a professor at the Naval Postgraduate School in California, and the other was a professor of electrical and computer engineering at the University of Texas at San Antonio. Examples like David and Yi are abundant. Under the guise of patriotism, the CCP indoctrinates and coerces a large number of overseas Chinese students into espionage activities, forcing them to collect intelligence through various means in different Western countries. According to Chen Yonglin, a former first secretary of the Chinese embassy in Australia, there are 1,000 Chinese spies in Australia. However, considering Australia's population is just over 20 million, this number is significant. Additionally, former Chinese National Security Officer Hao Fengjun, who worked for the Tianjin State Security Bureau for 10 years, disclosed that there are over 1,000 Chinese agents in Canada, mainly concentrated in Toronto and Vancouver. Alicia Kearns, chair of the UK Foreign Affairs Committee, also stated that there is ample evidence that the CCP is systematically attempting to infiltrate the UK academic sector and divert critical research, capabilities, and technology. Ken McCollum, Director General of MI5, warned university deans that the Chinese government is targeting UK universities to steal technology that can deliver their authoritarian military and commercial priorities. On January 31, 2024, the U.S. human rights organization Freedom House released a report titled Addressing Transnational Repression on the Campuses in the U.S. It pointed out that from 2014 to 2022, in order to steal the U.S. secrets and interfere in U.S. politics, the Chinese government conducted 253 cases of transnational repression, the most of any country in the world. Transnational repression incidents include intimidation, physical and cyber attacks against international students, scholars, and teachers, as well as monitoring, harassment, threats, and retaliation against their families. Freedom House also reminds that many American universities lack awareness of the threat of transnational repression and hope that schools will formulate relevant strategies to protect and prevent students from being threatened by this. Given the lessons from history, experts analyze that the investigation into the influx of Chinese students into Cagayan is just one small part. The Philippines will also counter China from other areas. This can be seen from the Philippines-US-Japan's recent trilateral agreement for security and economy. On April 11, 2024, the United States, Japan, and the Philippines held their first trilateral summit, focusing on the Indo-Pacific region and the South China Sea issues. At the summit, the leaders of the three countries announced the establishment of the Luzon Economic Corridor to improve connectivity between Subic Bay, Clark, Manila, and Batangas in the Philippines. This is the latest move by the United States and Japan to counter China's influence in the Indo-Pacific. In addition, the joint statement and the White House announcements stated that the U.S. International Development Finance Corporation plans to set up an office in Manila. The U.S. and the Philippines will also strengthen cooperation in semiconductors and critical minerals. In response, U.S. economist David J. Wong also stated that the Luzon corridor is a good opportunity for Japan and the United States to provide assistance to the Philippines using their industrial and technological advantages, including purchase orders, loans, and personnel training. For the Philippines, it is at least an opportunity to improve its industrial structure. A professor of international studies at the University of St. Thomas in the United States, Yao Yuanye, believes that the current heavy investment by the United States and Japan in the Philippines is gradually shifting advanced technology production away from China, which has very good prospects. To some extent, it also provides some reference for other Southeast Asian countries, making them feel that the U.S. is really willing to invest resources in this area. Sydney University of Technology Associate Professor Feng Chong Yi also stated that the cooperation prospects are certainly very high because the United States and Japan are democratic countries with the same aspirations as the Philippines. They have no territorial ambitions and no intention of infringing the Philippines' territorial waters. However, this also raises a further question whether other Southeast Asian countries will follow the footsteps of Manila. It is reported that the Luzon Economic Corridor is the latest attempt by the United States to enhance its influence in the Asia-Pacific region and counter China's Belt and Road Initiative. The U.S. government has launched many initiatives and invited democratic countries such as Japan and Taiwan to participate. In September 2020, Washington and Taiwan signed the U.S.-Taiwan Trade and Investment Framework Agreement to assist in infrastructure and energy sector financing and related legal environments in the Indo-Pacific and Latin American regions to counter China's expansion in the area. Prior to this, in 2017, President Tsai Ing-wen announced a $3.5 billion infrastructure construction financing plan as part of the new southbound policy. Feng Chongyi remarked that the Philippines could serve as a model. If the Philippines sets a successful example, it can then move further southward towards Malaysia and Indonesia. The United States and Japan possesses both the technology and the funds. Previously, Western countries mistakenly poured them into China, inadvertently bolstering the Chinese regime. Now they realize that China is coming back to seize their markets, so they see the need to direct their funds and technology directly into these countries to squeeze China out. On the other hand, geopolitical experts believe that the success of the Luzon Corridor project is largely due to the intensified geopolitical conflicts in the South China Sea and the East China Sea between Beijing and its neighboring countries. This will significantly affect the relationship between the countries surrounding the areas, so the Luzon Corridor may be more attractive to countries like the Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Vietnam because they have a border and maritime boundary issues with Beijing. He said that for the Southeast Asian region, the Philippines, Malaysia, and Indonesia will be the targets of future U.S. and Japanese efforts to win them over. However, whether this will be effective depends on the outcome of the struggle with Beijing. If these countries perceive Beijing's interests as more conflicting than cooperative with their own, they might gravitate towards aligning with the United States and Japan. But if they believe that Beijing's economic assistance to them is greater, they may continue to maintain relations with Beijing. However, what can be confirmed now is that this will inevitably be a huge game between Beijing, Washington, and Tokyo across the entire Asia-Pacific region.